This show brought to you by Circle of Seven Productions, www.cosproductions.com. Please be sure to subscribe and welcome to our circle.
Hello, everybody. This is Patricia W. Fisher with Readers Entertainment Radio, and it is the end of August, and we're rapidly approaching Labor Day weekend. And one of the things I absolutely love about Labor Day weekend, it kind of, to me, feels like a new start to, like, the next quarter of the year. And it's just one of those things that we can say, okay, that we could start over. But one of the things we really want to do during that weekend, hopefully, is get some downtime and get to read. And one of the most fun things is to curl up with a great book. And in Texas, it's really, really hot still in September. So sitting by the pool or sitting on the beach or sitting inside by the air conditioner, all great choices to sit around and read. And I have a book for you to pick up because we have an author that's come back to talk to us again, which I'm super excited about. Honey Parker was here earlier talking about her book, Carefulish, that she wrote about 6 people during the pandemic. And now she has Daughter of Carefulish. And I want to know all sorts of things and wonderful things about this book. But I'm super excited to have Honey back on the show. Welcome, my dear. How are you?
I am so good, and I thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So you had a lot of success and super amazing feedback with Carefulish. I mean, the posts, people posting with Carefulish, the book, and, you know, in quarantine and all this other stuff. What did it surprise you to get such overwhelmingly positive stuff, or was it like, you know, I'll get some good, I'll get some bad, but I mean, where did all that fall for you?
Oh my God, it was staggering. Truthfully, this whole thing it came up so organically. You know, writing about 6 people in lockdown in New York City, and having it be light and humorous and with a lot of heart and all that. It was, for me, writing it. It was therapeutic. It kept me smiling. It kept me happy, and I love human behavior and all of our quirks. I had no idea how it was going to hit anybody else. I mean, how can you know? And the moment I put it out, like, people started sending me pictures of themselves posing with the cover. That kind of became a thing. And then, I got very good response from some people in the industry that I really, really respect. Pam Wallace, who co-wrote the movie Witness, has just been a heck of a fan, and David Sheffield, who wrote on SNL, and he wrote Coming to America and all that, and he loved it. It was great. And then the thing that really got me was some of the responses. There's a gal in Napa, and she shared a story with me about how she lost her house. I mean, devastating. Lost her house in a fire. And one night grabbed the book, curled up in a chair, and read it cover to cover. And she said, "It is the first time that I laughed in months." Yeah. And, what do you do with that?
That's huge.
That just, oh, my God. Yeah. I mean, I spent lockdown telling myself I was at a writer's retreat, and, you just put your head down and you create this thing, and to have it then have this other life is crazy.
And I think, too, we feel compelled to write a story. I mean, anybody who says, well, how do you start? It's like, well, you usually want to write about something. As a story that won't let you go, whether it's about a biography or fiction. You feel compelled to tell that story, but you do. I mean, you foster it, you make it as perfect as you can, and then you put it out in the world. And to get that kind of feedback, I mean, I don't think any of us anticipate, well, I'm so glad I wrote this story because I'm going to help all these people, and they're going to be so happy and write to me. I mean, they don't. They just, no, that's not how we're doing it.
No,
but it's
actually, I was
too.
utterly selfish. It was, I mean, this was therapy. I mean, it was the beginning of lockdown, so we all know what that felt like. My mother had just passed, so that was
A lot.
Horrible. It was a lot. And, I just, my husband kept saying to me, write happy. Are you happy? Are you still happy? And that kind of kept me in the right headspace to make this what I wanted to make it. But yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah. When you were creating your characters, how did you? So we all create characters and we all have them do these things. And when you're writing, it was, oh, no one's going to believe anybody does this, right? Like this is too much. But this fits the character, so I'm going to keep it. And then the feedback you got for that, like, oh my gosh, that's my neighbor,
Well, yeah, some of it, I had two feelings about it. Some of it I thought, well, it's just, should I even write about people making sourdough and all this kind of stuff and naming their sourdough? I've had so many people say, oh my God, I named my sourdough. And I've heard all the names. I'm trying to remember some of the really good names. Of course, now I can't because I'm trying to think of them. But then, like, the really crazy things that happened in the book. I mean, somebody is, he's making a Ninja Warrior training course in his parents' apartment. But the response that I've gotten is, man, I can see someone I know in all these people.
Yeah.
And that's just, I mean, I love it. And certainly I've hidden a lot of my own quirks in some of these different characters.
Right.
But yeah, basically the response I've gotten is, wow, there's something in here for everyone. There is a stupid behavior for everyone.
True. I think it's interesting how, and we were just talking about this before we started, was people are really seeing this insight to human behavior that a lot of people just really didn't appreciate. Like, I worked ER and ICU for years, and so it was, to me, it was like, yeah, this is typical. But I mean, so many people are like, why are people acting like this? I'm like, they've been acting like this. It's just we haven't seen it on such a huge scale, and it's great. In some ways, it's just really twisted fodder for writing. But I mean, people are just really interesting. And there's
been so potent right now. You know, during lockdown, it's such an interesting time to take a look at human behavior because everything just seems to be heightened. I think, I mean, the good and the bad, all of it. I certainly have put some of these characters through the ringer, but, they can take it.
Well, I mean, and it's interesting because I remember talking to my mother-in-law years ago, and she's a lovely woman, but she's like, I don't understand why anyone would want to see a movie like whatever it was, and there was all this conflict. I said, because nobody wants to watch 2 hours of people being nice to each other. I said, even in Sound of Music, there were Nazis. I mean, come on. Nobody wants to sit around and watch people just be pleasant. It's boring. So yeah, it's that potency coming through is that's perfect word right there. And I laugh about you mentioning the sourdough because we talked about that before, but my daughter came home yesterday and she's like, okay, so in science class, and their district's making them all wear masks, which is fabulous, but she's like, in my science class yesterday, we're doing an experiment and we have 2 tomato plants and I have named them Jerry and Bob. It's like, strong work, babe. Got to keep it fresh. So you came up with Carefulish, and now your newest book, Daughter of Carefulish. Tell us how. I mean, it would seem obvious how these are related, but tell us how the one book leads to the other.
Well, the second book in the series, and I'm working on the third book now. The second book starts the morning after the last book ends. Okay. So it's the next morning, and this is giving nothing away, but everybody has got a raging hangover from what they did the night before.
Okay.
So So Daughter of Terrible starts with a fair amount of pain, fair amount of self-inflicted pain. Yeah, and it goes timeline through like last October.
Okay.
Yeah, and so it's the same. We're going to start with the same 6 characters, same 6 friends, and these are friends who they knew each other in high school. Whether they were tight in high school, they weren't all tight in high school, but they moved to New York and found each other. And that's kind of when I moved to New York. I all of a sudden became closer friends with people who I knew from high school or college who happened to be there. You just kind of form these families. And so that's what they did. And they had gotten together at this bar every Thursday for their weekly, after dinner drink. And it turned into a weekly Zoom call now during lockdown. So anyway, it's the same 6 characters. There's a couple of new characters that come into their lives. And then one of our characters is thrown a total curve, and she's got to go take care of a parent. So then we get that whole new world of her parents' world and what that generation is doing that is utterly uncareful-ish and completely crazy and so different than life in New York City. I will say it's Florida. The parent is in Florida, and attitudes are quite different.
Yeah, it's amazing. But I have just finished watching The Good Place, and there's a character in it called Jason, and he's from Florida, and all the Florida jokes are so. And I realize that this was all written, 3, 4, 5 years ago. But man, it really gets emphasized now when I'm watching it. So
it's my husband.
How frightening for this character.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it is utterly, and I keep going back and forth, and there's comparisons to. I mean, part of it is, as I think as we all advance through life, there are different times where we've said to ourselves, I thought I would have grown out of that behavior, or I thought I would have learned, and I would not do X anymore. And so this character is kind of confronted with the fact that, no, you are going to make the same mistakes over and over and over again. And in Florida, it's worse. But I've introduced some characters in Florida, and I just kind of love them too. Some of them just get little hits, and some of them get bigger plays, and and then it's dealing with parents, and that's loaded. That's so loaded.
Even in the best situation, it's loaded.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, my mother's passed, but I was very close with my mother. I'm still very close with my father. And man, I can tell you some funny stuff. It's still, Yeah, my dad I love my father dearly, and I know he'd fight a bear for me. But there are times that I joke with my kids about going to events because he hated traffic. So we would be there 2 hours before any sporting event. Like we would go to the Houston Hurricanes soccer league. It was like way back when, and they had professional soccer in Houston, and we'd be there 2 hours before the game ever started. And then we'd get to the second half, and we would leave 15 minutes after it started, so we could get home. And we did the early out.
Yeah. So, and I didn't see an end of a football game until I was in the band in high school, because you can't leave. So my dad would come and watch the game. He'd watch halftime, and he was out of there. He's done. And this happened until college. I mean, he'd come up and see me when I was in the UT band, and he'd be like, "Okay, good job, bye," and he would be out. So that's always been the joke, and my kids are like, "Hurry up, we got to get there 2 hours early," because it's just we're laughing about it. But it was insane. And my husband's like, "What do you mean you'd leave?" And I'm like, "We'd leave." Be done.
We absolutely. It's so funny. My husband and I have joked about that. Both of our families did that. Just I never saw the end of a Phillies game. Never. We were out of there.
So when I met my husband, I would just say, I'm sitting here, and we're going to be the last ones walking out of this place. I'm seeing everything.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, why not wait for everybody to leave? Like, you can do that too.
I know.
No, that never came up.
No, we can't. Hurry. We got to go.
I've completely, for the book, I've completely stolen things out of my mother's mouth. Just totally, just out and out ripped them off.
Yeah.
Put them in.
Well, it makes it real. Because, if your mom said it, there's like 500 other moms who've said something like that. And people are going to go, yep, there it is. I mean,
oh my gosh,
it's just there.
Yeah, we used to joke with my mother that her brand is, I'm disappointed, but I love you anyway.
Yeah.
That's her brand. But, yeah, it was good. It was all good. She told one time we were going out, and I put this in the first book. We were going out someplace, just this dynamic, and I was in my 20s, and I was home visiting, and she said, "Hon, it's cold. Do you want a sweater or a jacket?" And I said, "I'll take a jacket." And she said, "Take the sweater." I said, "Well, if you knew what you wanted me to take, why'd you ask?" And she said, "I thought you might get it right."
Yeah, my dad's thing is to say, where do you guys want to go eat? I'm sure there's a lot of people hearing this going, oh, I know where this is going. Like, where do you want to go eat?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it sounds good. Yeah, I don't want to go there. Like, why are you asking?
Yeah, anything you pick is fine by me except for what you pick.
Yes, not there.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Any place we don't have to wait, but I want to go on Friday at 6:30. It's like, it's not going to happen. Might as well stay home.
So good. Yeah. And the character that I've got dealing with a parent is like the worst parent relationship of the book.
Yeah.
So why make it easy for them, right?
Yeah. Right. Well, and I think what you're talking about is I thought I wouldn't act this way when I was this age, or I would never act like this person, right? And then you realize you act more like them than you realize, but it's so emphasized when you're actually having to battle the person you said you wouldn't be like. I mean, that's actually that's so funny because I'm in the third book right now and writing the third book, and I've got a character who's like 100% there, in that. But in this book we've got some nice public shaming. We've got all kinds of fun. Sweet, yeah, that's a good one. That's good fodder for therapy. So
well, yeah.
So I wanted to switch gears for just a second, and you have a really fun Instagram. So if anybody wants to follow Honey, she's at Honey Parker Books on Instagram, and she has this really great post about her husband versus the cat. So how's that going?
Man and Cat I just hashtag it Man and Cat. I had originally started writing things about it, and then I'm like, no, Man and Cat covers it. Yeah, in the middle of posting about books and stuff, my husband is kind of like the king of deadpan, and the only creatures who do deadpan better than my husband are cats. And we're traveling the country right now. We're kind of looking for our next home, and as we go around the country, we're with friends, we're with family, we're visiting. We have a lot of friends with cats, and I'm at my brother's place right now, and he's got 3 cats. And like anytime I look over, Mr. Parker, which is what I call my husband, Mr. Parker, he is having some sort of mirror interaction with a cat, and I can't help but share it, and people are just kind of loving it.
Does he like cats?
So it's not just our cat. That's a loaded question. I think so. When we first got together, I had a cat who ultimately lived to be like 20, Yosef.
Okay.
And Mr. Parker, Blaine would always call him my cat. Well, that's your cat. And,
right.
And, you know, I would always say, oh, he loves me so much. And that's my talking cat voice. It's, you know, it's always like, who's a cat? Oh, who loves me? And I would say that, and Blaine would say, you know, they don't feel emotions like you do. I'm like, you're wrong. And then one time, the cat, you know, dropped a load where he shouldn't have. And
sure.
So Blaine confronted the cat and tried to reason with him. And so the cat bit him, and his hand blew up like a football. And we scooted to the emergency room. And the emergency room doctor says to him, was it your cat? And Blaine says, no, it's hers. I don't think that's what the doctor was asking, but okay. But I was like, okay, so the cat doesn't feel emotions, but you can reason with it? That doesn't make sense.
Sure.
Like, A, the cat can feel emotions, and B, you cannot reason with it.
You cannot. And it feels the emotions when it damn well feels like it's going to feel emotions.
Exactly. And you're just going to, you know, you choose to enjoy it or not. But, then we had another cat. I've put Blaine through the ringer with cats. We traveled in an RV with a cat. That was great.
Sure.
You know.
Please tell me you're going to put that in a book.
Traveling in an RV with a cat?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay, fine. I'll share that pain. Let me make a note.
Well, you know, you could do it like 50 things I learned from traveling in an RV with my cat and this guy that keeps showing up at my house.
You know, actually, it's interesting. So I'm on the third book of Carefulish, and after I finish that, I may come back to these characters, but I have another series that I'm doing, and it's literally set in RVs. And so now I think somebody's going to have a cat. I think the main character is going to have a cat.
I think it would be a good thing. You never know what that cat might help with. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my husband, when I first met him, he, you know, he was an engineer before he went to med school, and and I'm like, woohoo! Yeah, so it's, you know, these two different types of people, and he came over on our second date, and I said, okay, I have to go brush my teeth really quick. I have a cat. You're probably not going to see him. He doesn't like anybody. So he's just going to, you know, I'll be right back. So I walked back in the room like 3 minutes later, and that cat is sitting next to him. Now, mind you, he is allergic, like badly. And he's sitting there, and that cat's just looking at him like, so. You know? And I thought, oh, now I got to marry this guy because the cat came out and sat with him. And initially he was kind of like, okay, whatever. And then he and the cat just formed this bond. He taught it tricks. And he was just really devastated when that cat died. He lived to be 18. So the cat, my husband,
you know,
still alive. But yeah.
As you know, as much as Blaine, you know, would say that, well, whatever he would say about my cat, I had been because the cat lived to be 20, and I had been away, and I came home, and he was literally walking around the house with the cat in a sling close to his body because the cat was coming to the end, and he wanted to keep the cat close and warm and all that. So, you know, I mean, he plays a good deadpan face game of I have no emotions, but, you know, he was right there. And
it's interesting how, Go ahead, dear.
Go ahead, sorry.
Well, just saying, it's amazing how the animals really kind of, you know, open our hearts a little bit when we'd least expect it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. we
I
always
think
joke,
it's a
I
good
can't
thing.
get up. I'm under a cat.
Right. I have canine paralysis quite frequently. So yeah. Like,
exactly.
Yeah. My husband's like, hey, blah. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't move this 12-pound dog's on me, so I can't.
Yeah, like if my husband would like roll on me in the middle of the night, like a hand goes across and I'm like, oh my God, you got to move your hand. But if a cat's on my legs, I can't move.
Yeah. I can't. That's the rules. That's the
I'm
rules that they set. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the deal. That's what happens. So you're finishing, are you working on book 3? When do you anticipate that will be released?
Oh, that's a good question. So I'm working on Bride of Carefulish is the 3rd book.
Okay.
And my goal is to have that out by the end of the year. It's going to be close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And then we can find them in the same
places
places we found your other 2.
Yeah, they're all up on Amazon, or you can find them all at honeyparkerbooks.com. And you will also see that I'm coming out with a small cocktail book for the cocktails of Carefulish, because there's a fair amount of drinking in the book. And I thought, I should be able to help people and give them a cocktail book. So that will be coming out as well.
People dig that stuff. They really do.
I just kind of put it out there that I was going to be doing a cocktail book, and a bunch of people sent me recipes, and I was like, okay, anybody who sends me a recipe gets a free cocktail book, because, why not? And I got a bunch of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I waited
like
tables in high school. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, the last one I got, I'm putting it in the 3rd book. I think it's called A Drunken Yoda, and it's like a big punch with chocolate chip mint ice cream and Kahlua, and sounds good.
Oh my gosh, yes. So if you come to Texas, we'll get the recipe and we will make it. So,
yes.
Although I don't know if you want to come here right now.
Well, I have made a blanket statement that I don't think I ever want to drive through Dallas again. Oh, my word. The last time we drove through Dallas, I thought I was going to die.
Yeah. And you live in California. You've lived in California, true, and New York with all that. It's just like.
I've lived in, California, New York, Utah, Florida for a little bit. The highways of Dallas really freaked me out.
Yeah, if you're not quite sure where you're supposed to be or going, it can be a little bit overwhelming for sure. Oh my gosh, yeah. That really was like my heart was pounding. It was crazy. We drive across the country a lot, and Blaine was about to, right before we got there, he's like, I'm getting tired, I'm about ready to switch off. You take the wheel. I said, fine. But before he could find a place to pull off, we're in it. We are absolutely in it. And he's like, well, I'm awake now. Yeah. Well, here's something you could have for your RV stories. I had some cousins from East Texas that they used to love RVing everywhere. And they're just fabulous people. And they would go visit all their families and everywhere. Well, Kenneth was a heart patient. And one of the wires from his pacemaker came loose while he was driving. And he basically died. And so his wife, Patsy, was having to climb over him to get to the wheel to keep them from crashing. And then she gets the car to the side of the road and then conducts CPR until the ambulance can get there. And he lives. Oh, my God. And they were telling us this story at one of the holidays we got together, and we're looking at him like, are you serious? And they're like, oh, yeah, it's like, just another Tuesday. Okay. By the way, my mouth is wide open. That's shocking. And then nobody else can tell a story after that, because no story is going to be as good as that. Right. It's just like, what? And he had he had multiple heart attacks. He'd had a stroke. She ended up having cancer at one point, and he outlived her. And it was just like, it was just insane, the stuff they went through. But they were just really sweet, lovely people who liked their RV. So it's like, okay.
Holy cow.
I know. It's nuts.
Well, now,
yeah.
Okay, so now my scary RV stories are like meaningless.
No, just
wow.
just throw it in there somewhere. You can, you can have that one, because I will probably never write an RV story.
Thank you.
And now you're like, I don't know what to do with this.
No, well, so I spend half my life sending myself texts now. Ever since I started writing novels, I'm texting myself all the time, because life is just filled with presents of these great things that you see or you hear somebody did, or just sometimes it's just a turn of phrase that I love. I'm like, oh my God, I've never put those 5 words together, and that's fantastic. And I'll just text myself, and in the morning, the first thing I do is I check my emails, and I just go through all that stuff, and I put them in different places.
Yeah. And there's one time we were sitting here recently at a restaurant, and these 2 people were you could tell they were discussing something pretty intense. And she's like, I'm not going back there because of the lizards. And I was like, yeah, I'm writing that one down. No idea where you've been.
So good.
So many possibilities. So yeah, it's interesting. People are fun. So I mean, you guys are going and RVing, when do you? So you'll finish The Bride of Carefulish, and then when do you anticipate your new series will be out next year in 2023? What do you think?
I would certainly hope that I get at least the first book of the next series out next year. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I actually started outlining that before I ever thought of writing Carefulish. But Carefulish, the pandemic happened, and I was inspired, and I wrote.
Sure.
I just wrote and wrote. So I already had some thinking for the next series, and it's been interesting how Carefulish and just studying human behavior is coloring how I'm going to attack the next series, because the next series is theme-wise is very, very different, but it's still human behavior is human behavior.
Yeah.
But it's a different genre. I can't help myself. I mean, it will be hopefully humorous, but not completely, not as much as this one.
Well, and being a writer and loving movies forever, my kids have picked up a lot of my quirks when watching film, and we've watched certain things, and we've compared certain superhero worlds to each other, and the big thing that I tell them is the best movie has this really good balance of, even if it's a really intense scene, there's some sort of humor thrown in somewhere, because you can't be stressed the whole time watching this if it's trying to be this kind of movie. And even
I think the classic example of that
horror
is
movies,
Jaws.
they gotta have. Yeah.
Where they're all sitting in the boat. I don't know if you remember, but the three main characters are sitting in the boat, and they're kind of, that there's impending doom, and they just have this very light, laughing moment. And absolutely, you need that, I think. And I think that it makes the scary stuff, whether it's horror or whatever, even more potent, because you've just taken that huge swing. Instead of going from 0 to 10, you've gone from negative 10 to 10. It's just a bigger swing.
Yeah, and I think the humor also adds, this is what we might lose if we don't succeed, like these moments.
That's really interesting. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah,
I think
this
you're
is why
right.
we're fighting for this. Yeah. And
but that is that is so true. That's
See, my coffee kicked in really early today. I'm being very philosophical.
Oh, it was really good. I'm just at the bottom of my second cup, and I clearly need a third because you just crushed me on that one.
I have moments every once in a while. It's all good.
No, that was so good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like that whole, now I can't even remember, like, what are we fighting for type, moment. Like, we're fighting for the ability to drink coffee whenever we damn well please. Yeah, it's that kind of thing. So, yeah.
Yeah. Some of the best moments in my life are drinking coffee.
Yeah. It's interesting when you were talking about Jaws. Every time I see that movie, and I've watched a ton of documentaries since then, and there's a new one out with Valerie Taylor, who helped with filming that, like the shark scenes and some other stuff, and she talks about how they filmed it, and then she's been a huge conservationist for years. And I think about that, and I think about the sharks and then being in the cages and everything else, and then that translates to my brother actually went out shark cage diving, 10, 15 years ago. And it was off of Coronado, so they went out where they do all the research. And he said, we're out there, and you get that they're long, like 12, 14 feet, whatever. He said it's the girth that people just don't appreciate. So it's literally like a bus with teeth. I mean, You're talking about, so the perspective is very different when you're in the water, and I'm thinking every time I see someone in the cage, I'm like, that's really a lot bigger than we think it is.
Well, I mean, nowhere near as good a story as that, but when it was our honeymoon, we were in Belize, and we were diving, and it was this, I've heard of like a Stingray Alley kind of thing, but it was stingrays and sharks. Now, just to be clear, there were nurse sharks, so we were told there was no danger. But the darn things are like 7 feet long, okay?
Yeah.
And when a nurse shark that's 7 feet long bumps into you, seriously, you just want to throw up and get out of the water. At least that was my reaction. And I'm a diver. I love diving, all that. I was the first one out of the water. I'm like, no, I'm not meant to be here with this thing. I'm out. I am out.
Yeah.
No, it's so imposing. And a friend of mine was diving with a whale shark, and those things they're the biggest. And there's part of me that's like, wow, that would be amazing. And the other part of me is like, I don't know if I could take it. I think I might throw up and get out of the water. Yeah. Just, too much.
A lot.
I've swam with, barracuda, also insanely creepy.
Yeah, they don't have eyelids. They don't blink, man. They just they got you in their sights. It's weird.
Yeah, and they're all lower jaw. It looks like they swam into a wall. They've got that jaw shoved up. But they're long and thin. They don't have, what you were talking about. They don't have that mass of a shark.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you should do one about diving. So do your RV stuff and then do a series about diving.
A series about diving.
I'm just going to keep adding to your schedule here.
Yeah. Well, I actually have another story in mind that I'm not sure if it's going to be one book or a series that I think I'll take on after I take on this other series, and that's more of a period piece. And there will be no shark cages.
Oh, bummer. Okay.
I know, but I'll make myself a note, and perhaps I will get to the shark cage.
Sweet. I love it.
Yes.
So tell me, if your books were going to screen, whether TV or film, who would play the main 6 characters? What actors? I sat in on a book club, and I got asked this question.
And then, and I stunk at the answer then, and I'm probably going to stink at the answer now. I just forgot the actress's name. Oh my word, that I thought could play Kimmy. She's in everything right now. Chinese actress.
Was she in? Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think she could absolutely pull off, Kimmy's bluntness.
Yes.
I think she'd be pretty great at that. I've always said in all the books I describe Benji as like Adam Driver's younger brother.
Okay.
He looks like Kylo Ren.
Okay.
But a little younger and a little less cool. And yeah, I wish I should have written down people for this one.
Well, it'd be a cool. I mean, you could throw it out there to the readers and see who comes up with what. Like.
Oh, I love that. You're just giving me all kinds of stuff. I'm gonna ask readers who would play what.
Yeah, that's fun. Awkwafina did. She was on SNL a few years ago, and she did this amazingly funny skit. Like she was Cleopatra's stylist. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
But Cecily Strong is Cleopatra, and then Kenan Thompson and Kate McKinnon are like assistants to Awkwafina, and they're just like making all of these like ridiculous comments and just she's like, oh my God, bury my organs in little jars because I am dead,
That's fantastic.
I know. we were just in tears laughing. I think I've probably watched it way too many times. It's probably unhealthy now, but it's just really funny. Oh yeah, if you get a chance, grab it.
People love to poo-poo SNL. Oh, it's not. There's always something to find.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I can't, as somebody who's been an art director in a previous life, there was a piece that they did. It was a video called Papyrus, where they're talking about that font, and they're just this guy. He's an art director, and he's talking about the movie Avatar, and it's like, that's not a logo, that's just papyrus. It's just the font Papyrus. How can I get an award for logo design? I've yelled about that font so many times, and then to watch that just killed me.
Yeah. See, I mean, it's funny because, I've watched SNL literally since it started. Whether I should have been watching it, I'm not really sure, but I was watching it the original 5 years. And there were plenty of things that I'm just sitting there going, man, I cannot believe my parents let me watch this show. But it was the 70s, so whatever. But yeah, and now it's just got some really amazing cast members. I mean, it has over the years multiple times, and it seems like the guests that come on are truly willing to just let things fly. And I think that's a big part of it, of their success as well, is they have people on there that are willing to not only laugh at themselves, but do a good job while they're there.
And they throw so much stuff up on the wall because they have to, their schedule. They're putting out however many sketches every week. And so not all of them are going to be knocked out of the park, but for the rate at which they work, the amount of stuff they generate that is, that you would want to share with somebody and say, you need to see this. I mean, that's impressive.
And have that bit of escapism and a good laugh, which is always healthy.
Oh, so good.
Like your books.
Oh, thank you for circling back like that.
I know. I've been practicing.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I have. It makes me happy when somebody says they've picked up the next book and they laughed out loud, and I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, I know that when you're sitting down writing it, that's not like, oh, they are going to laugh so hard at this. I mean, every once in a while you will because you're laughing. Because you're writing it, you're laughing. But
having done
I don't think that's the
improv
drive.
for years, I mean, like the rule of improv is don't try to tell a joke. Don't try to be funny because then it's not going to work. Things just have to happen organically. I will say that now I do keep I keep some of my cocktail swag around my computer as I write because they just keep me happy, my little plastic animals.
Yeah. I mean, whatever works.
They just remind me to lighten up. But yeah, you can't force it because then it'll feel that way.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there are definitely times that, like I'll be editing my book, I'll be reviewing it, and something will catch me that I forgot I wrote, and I'll be like, oh, I'm glad I put that in there. That's kind of funny.
And have you done this where you're rereading it later, like significantly later, and you're like, wow, I wrote that. That was pretty good.
My favorite bit of bad behavior on my part when I'm editing it is I'll be reading something and I'll think, oh, what should happen next? Rereading it and I turn the page and that's exactly what it says. And then I'm all impressed with me. And then I'm like, wow, your ego is enormous. I'm like, that was the perfect thing to happen. I'm like, oh, please. Actually, years ago, I had a dream that it's not a funny movie, but when Schindler's List came out, everybody kept saying, you need to see it. You need to see it. We can't forget. We need to see it. And I hadn't seen it. And I had a dream. And in the dream, I went to a movie theater and watched the movie. So I wasn't watching the movie. I was watching my version of the movie because it was my dream. And in the dream, I'm like, damn, this is a good movie. And then I woke up and I'm like, you don't like Schindler's List. You liked your version of the movie.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, get over yourself.
Let me just make some notes. So, yeah.
Exactly. I'm sure they'll want to hear from me.
Yes. Was it one of the funniest? So we got to go see Neil deGrasse Tyson a few years ago, and he was lecturing on, it was called astrophysics or something in the movies. And so he was bringing up all these different movies, and he said there's movies that do, like, try really, really hard to be accurate, and they get most of it right. And then there's movies that just don't give a crap about what happens and if it's right, and they get some of it right. So he was talking about Titanic and how James Cameron had gone to such extremes to have every detail correct, and like the ship and the way it was set up and the furniture and everything. Well, when Rose is on the door and she looks up, it's the original sky was just basically a mirror image of itself. So Neil deGrasse Tyson said when he saw it, he's like, wait a minute, you've done all this other research and you don't have the right sky? Well, of course, whatever. So he had reached out to James Cameron several times and got no response. Well, then there was an event at the Hayden Planetarium where Neil deGrasse Tyson, he runs. So they're having this big thing. They've had a few bottles of wine, and, here are these two very potent alpha males. And Tyson says, by the way, and mentions the sky. And James Cameron looks at him and goes, well, the last I saw, it's made over $1 billion. So...
See, I was thinking from like a crummy storytelling point of view, like, okay, so everything, all the details and the plates and all that, and the costuming has to be perfect and realistic. And it would be so insanely realistic to be on a ship that is sinking and worry about chasing somebody around a boat to shoot them. Like, they're probably going to die anyway. Like, how is that something?
Right. I don't know. Well, what happened is when they did the 10th anniversary release, his cinematographer called Neil deGrasse Tyson and said, I heard you have a sky for me. So then they replaced it. I guess it bothered him enough.
Yeah, really.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a burr.
Well, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you.
You know, it is completely my pleasure. Thank you for having me back. And I enjoy seeing all your pet pictures on Instagram.
Oh, thank you. Well, keep on writing, and please come back around the holidays. Let's talk some Bride of Careflish and drink some drinks.
That would be fantastic. Yes, next time I'll drink something other than coffee.
Woohoo! All right. Maybe
Woo!
we'll each have a Yoda. We'll have a Yoda drink or whatever with Kahlua. I don't know. So, yeah, all good.
A floating Yoda. All right. Take care.
Thank you so much. This has been Patricia W. Fisher with Readers Entertainment Radio. I've been talking to Honey Parker. She is her newest book, Daughter of Careflish, is out now. You can find her on her website, Instagram, Facebook, and Amazon. And the links to all that are in the write-up of the show. Keep on reading, everybody.
This show brought to you by Circle of Seven Productions, www.cosproductions.com. Please be sure to subscribe and welcome to our circle.